Okay, they didn't ask you to do a 2-column proof for this problem, but so you normally wouldn't write all this down, but this is a good way to show you the logical thinking that you go through. You're given that GRPC is a parallelogram, and you want to find the lengths of PE and BE, and they kind of lead you through what you have to do here. You have to identify a pair of similar triangles, explain why those triangles are similar, and then use the fact that the triangles are similar to find the lengths of BE and PE. Okay, so here's kind of the thought process that you go through. You're given that this is a parallelogram. That means that the opposite sides are parallel. That's what these little red arrows imply. You could also put arrows on these opposite sides, but that's really not needed for this problem. Angle GBC is congruent to angle PBE because they're vertical angles. And angle C, this angle right here, only has 2 rays leading from C, so I can use only one letter if I want to, is congruent to angle BPE. Well, because see over here, these 2 sides of the parallelogram are parallel, which we've already established right here. And they're cut by this transversal CP, and when 2 parallel lines are cut by a transversal, alternate interior angles are congruent. So that's why we can say angle C is congruent to this angle. And by the way, if we wanted to, we could also say that this angle is congruent to this angle by the same reasoning. Or we could also say that if 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle, then the third angles are congruent. You don't need all 3 angles to say that these 2 triangles are similar by angle. And you got to get the letters in the right order. So at vertex B, we have 1 arc mark, and at angle C, we have these 2 arc marks. So the correct, or one of the way to establish the similarity is that triangle BCG, now we got to get the corresponding letters in the same order. Start at B, P, E, because C corresponds to vertex P. And once you have this established, then you can say if 2 triangles are similar, their corresponding sides are in proportion. And just get the letters. BC is to BP, as CG, that's the last 2 letters, is to PE, as BG, first and third letters, is to BE. Okay, and this is the proportion we're going to use to solve part C. Okay, so BC, which is 350 feet, is to BP, 250 feet, as CG, 400, is to PE, which is what we don't know, as 450, that's the BG, is to BE. And now you can, well, maybe use this proportion right here to solve for PE. One way to do that is to reduce 350 over 250 to 7/5. And then if these fractions or ratios are equal, their reciprocals are equal, and multiply both sides by 400. So you get 2,000 divided by 7. You could reduce that to a mixed number if you wanted to. And similarly, we could use 350 as to 250 as 450 as to BE. Take the reciprocal if you want, multiply both sides by 450. And you get BE equals 5 times 450 over 7. Okay, there you go. Hope that gave you some idea how to do this for future problems. If you have any questions, post a comment.